Switching gears just a little bit. In testimony, depositions before Congress this week, Hunter Biden admitted he put his father on this speakerphone during business meetings. But then Hunter said his father wasn't involved. You go figure. I don't know. Joining me now, Pennsylvania Congressman Scott Perry, who's probably not going to have any of it. I mean, that's kind of interesting, Scott. We just happened to have these phone calls, and I guess the vice president was on the horn, but he was just there to be there. Maybe he didn't have anything else to do. He wasn't a good vice president. Ha, ha, ha. Never involved in any of these business dealings. Let's start with that. What do you make of that defense?
Well, it's not much of a defense. Actually, I think it's an admission that the vice president was there. And I suspect if you do cell phone data location for the time of those phone calls, you'll find out that he was right there. And for the now president to say he had no dealing, he had no knowledge of his son's business dealings, and for his son to say that his father, the president of the United States, had no knowledge of it, none of that adds up. And I would just say that if you can read 18 U.S.C. 201, I believe, which says that taking money as an official act is bribery and is illegal. And even if it's for a third person, so even if Joe Biden didn't get the money, but Hunter did, it's bribery, it's illegal, and he was involved.
Scott Perry, you were in the deposition hearing. You were there?
I stopped over for a little while, yes.
So you watched Hunter answer questions?
You did.
You think he was lying? Directly ask you.
I think it's.
You look at somebody's eyes. You watch their movements, their body language, and so forth. You think he was lying or telling the truth?
I think it's very difficult to betray your parents. Let me just say that. I think it's very difficult to betray your parents and to also put yourself in legal jeopardy, which might include time in jail. Most people would shy away from that. And I think quite honestly, I think that's what we're seeing in the Fani Willis case as well. It doesn't seem like the facts bear out the transcript, so to speak, or the testimony. But that having been said, we need a little more time to line some facts up with some testimony and get some things corroborated. Remember, Hunter's now, at the tail end of a long list of witnesses.
Well, I think if you have, I see some discussions about an open hearing with Hunter, but I think that just gives him the advantage. He will just spin yarns, tell stories, act out, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the FBI's taken down this guy Smirnov, who was supposed to be one of their top informants. They paid him for years. All of a sudden, they think he's lying, so they're throwing him in jail. All right. Now, I had Jamie Comer, Chairman Comer, on the show earlier this week. And, you've got all these, you've got checks, you've got tracings of every Biden family member had a little company, an LLC. I guess my question to you, Scott, is this hearing, is this whole impeachment inquiry, is it coming to a dead end? I'm asking this honestly. Or is there more to do that can be done? Because I don't think you got from Hunter what you wanted to get. I just don't think that panned out. So you've got a lot of checks. You've got a lot of suspicious financial activity. So my question to you in the last minute is, what from here? Is this whole inquiry coming to an end?
I don't think it is coming to an end. And quite honestly, I think the part of the untold story is the FBI, the Department of Justice, the IRS's involvement, and the fact that they arrested Smirnov after years of paying him as one of their top witnesses. And the only thing he's charged with is lying on this occasion. He didn't lie on any other occasions, just on this occasion. At the same time, no one ever thought about, apparently, arresting Christopher Steele, who apparently lied to the FBI and was a paid informant. It just is very suspicious to me, Larry. I think that the more we continue to turn over rocks, the more snakes we're going to find.
All right. I hear you. Scott Perry, thank you ever so much.